family, grace to you. This is Greg coming to you again from FaithsMessenger.com. If I were to give this message a title, I would call it Coming Out of the Fog. Coming Out of the Fog. Before I became a Christian, I had quite a few questions. Questions not necessarily of theological origin. I just wanted some background information on what it is Christianity and the church represented. What was it all about? I had questions like, why was the church named what it was named? Why were there so many different denominations, and what did the denominations stand for? Why were there such vast differences in the way different cultures worshipped? And back then, my mother was the spiritual go-to in our household. And unfortunately, she was in the fog. She had no answers for me. Her pat answer was, well, it's that way because it's always been that way. And for me, that just wasn't good. She went to a very traditional church. Women were completely covered up. The women could not wear pants in the church. And I remember asking her if there was a prostitute who wanted out of that life and stumbled upon the church on Sunday morning in her traditional garb and what prostitutes wear, very revealing clothing. Would she be allowed to talk to the pastor? Would she be allowed to get answers to her question and eventually become a Christian, be led to the Lord? And my mom told me that no, she would not be allowed in the sanctuary dressed that way. And I remember that day thinking that I didn't want anything to do with organized religion if organized religion held those types of beliefs or standards. Fortunately for me, later on I came into the knowledge of the truth, what God's love was all about, and I did receive Christ, and it didn't hinder me having a relationship with God. But I remember feeling that there had to be some benefit to being a Christian, more so than just going to heaven when we die. There had to be some earthly benefit to this proposition, this fraternity, this club, this order, this organization. But like I said, I couldn't find any answers, and with no answers, I prefer to stay home and watch football, to be honest with you. I can't just do things just because it's always been done that way. Fortunately, in the situation with the prostitute, even though I wasn't saved yet, I had an idea of what a loving God's character was like. And in my mind, that wasn't the character of a loving God. And as I say, fortunately, that early experience didn't drive me away permanently from the church. I eventually did receive the Lord. But I want to ask you where you're at spiritually. I'd like to provoke you and encourage you to ask yourself questions like, why are we going to this particular church? Why did we choose this particular denomination to worship in? What does this particular denomination stand for? As Christians, we should know why we do what we do. We should know why we believe in what we believe. And most importantly, we should know, is what we believe motivated by love? So I would encourage you to do some soul searching. Ask yourself if you've been in the fog, shrouded by traditionalism, and if so, get some solid answers. You can't make a valid judgment, you can't make a valid decision until you know the facts, until you know the basics. So I want to provoke you to get some answers. If you're in the fog, get out of the fog. Know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Know why you're doing what you're doing. And most importantly, know that what you're doing is motivated by love. Once again, I thank you for your time, family. I would encourage you to become a YouTube subscriber if you have not already. And if you are a fellow YouTuber, Christian YouTuber, I would encourage you to join our online community, which is located at www.micro-ministries.com. Now, what this community is about, it's a group of Christian YouTubers, and what we do is we help get exposure to our content. There's great content out there on the internet, and we do our best to get you as much exposure as humanly possible, and you are certainly invited to join. I will leave the link to that community in the description box below. But as I leave you, I'd like to leave you with this question, and that question is anything impossible with God? Have a great day, family. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.